Good morning, Ralph S. Mouse. See what happens to Ralph. I have to remember what happened to Ralph yesterday. I know they were trying to figure out, I think they were trying to figure out if there are mice in the school. Oh, and they found out that there really wasn't an investigation, and they were going to just have a couple of mouse traps. And Ralph thought, who cares? I know how to beat a mouse trap. All right, so here we go. And then they say, if Mr. Costa doesn't catch any mice, do we get to write our letters to the Cucaracha Boys? Asked Gloria. That's right, agreed Miss Kay. But what if Mr. Costa catches Ralph? Someone asked. Others voiced the same worry. Ralph was insulted. Hadn't he proved his intelligence by finding a new way to run a maze? He knew all about traps. As soon as he was old enough to leave the nest, his mother had taken him to see baited traps in the hotel kitchen and explained the evils one by one. We'll just have to take that chance, said Miss Kay. Now please settle down and finish those spelling sentences. Spelling sentences were all Room 5 did manage that morning. At lunchtime, some of the girls began to call, Ralphie, where are you, Ralphie? As they gathered up their lunch boxes. Ralphie. Ralph would never answer to such a silly name. He noticed Brad was the last to leave, as if he were not eager to join the others for lunch. Suddenly, Ralph's anger boiled over. He did not care if Brad looked lonely. He did not care if Brad found out he could talk. He was going to take matters into his own paws and tell the boy a thing or two. Ralph leaped lightly from the top of the book, dashed across the floor, and sprung up on Brad's jeans. Desperately, he clung by his toenails as Brad walked out of the room and slowly down the hall. Miss Kay locked the door of her room and caught up with Brad, put her arms around his shoulders, and said, Is there something I can do to help? I'm okay, was all Brad said. If I can do anything, please let me know. Miss Kay released Brad and went on down the hall. Neither had noticed the mouse clinging to Brad's jeans. Ralph ran up Brad's leg onto the front of his t-shirt. Finally, Brad must have felt Ralph's toenails, for he looked down. You thug, said Ralph. You broke my motorcycle, my only way of getting out of this place. I'm too little to wade through the slush, and anyway, walking isn't as much fun as riding my motorcycle, especially through puddles. Brad stared at Ralph. You can talk? He said, as if he didn't believe it. Of course I can talk, said Ralph. Not many people can understand me, but I can talk. How come I understand you? Asked Brad. You're the type. You're lonesome. You're interested in cars and motorcycles. That's the sort of person who understands me. Brad seemed to be thinking his answer over as Ralph continued. How come you're lonesome? You're not a new boy in school like Ryan. None of your business, said Brad. Then, realizing he had admitted more than he intended, he contradicted himself. I'm not lonesome. Come on, coaxed Ralph, by now who was generally curious. You can tell me. Brad was stubbornly silent. I'm just a little mouse, you know, Ralph reminded him. Well, I live with my father and Arfie, my dog. My folks got divorced, and my mom doesn't live with us anymore. It's lonesome without her, confessed Brad. Oh, too bad. Ralph was sympathetic. His own mother nagged him, but he missed her right now. Ryan's lonesome too, because he's new here. Ralph told Brad, you two should get together. Suddenly, Brad laughed. The first time Ralph had ever heard him laugh. I don't believe this, he said. A mouse telling me what to do? Ralph's feelings were hurt. Don't believe it then, he said, remembering his motorcycle. Don't be mad. Brad was sorry he had hurt Ralph's feelings. Let's be friends. Why should we? Asked Ralph in his coldest squeak. You wanted to make the maze too hard. You pushed my friend and broke my motorcycle. Why should we be friends? Because... Brad began, and then he stopped. Look, I didn't know Ryan had a motorcycle in his pocket, or you either. I thought he was a rich... Oh, never mind what I thought. Was that really your motorcycle? Yes, it was, Ralph said. A boy gave it to me. Wow, Brad breathed. A mouse with a motorcycle. Can you ride it? Not when it's broken, said Ralph. Now put me down and go eat your lunch. I need a little rest. Mice are supposed to be nocturnal, you know. I need my sleep in the daytime. Miss Kay locked the door, Brad reminded him, and you shouldn't be running around the halls where you can get stepped on. No problem. I can go under the door, said Ralph. Will you talk to me again? Asked Brad, as he used the hand knot in the sling to set Ralph on the floor. Maybe. Maybe not, answered Ralph. All depends. And with that non-committal reply, he flattened himself and slipped under the door into the empty classroom. Inside, he entered what had become his new home away from home, Melissa's boot. He felt he had only dozed off when Ryan's hand closed around him. Gotcha, said Ryan. Put me down, snarled Ralph, needing his rest. Brad was right, said Ryan. I didn't think you would come back, but he said he'd found you and you'd talk to him. The class began to return and crowd around Ryan. You found him, they said. Miss Kay, Ralph's safe. Where will we keep him? We can't let him get caught in a trap. Traps, snarled Ralph. Do you think I'm stupid? Only Ryan and Brad understood him. Let's put him in the fishbowl for the time being, said Miss Kay. Oh, no, groaned Ralph. Not again. I think Ralph likes more privacy, said Ryan. There's that old mitten that's been lying around, said Melissa. He could sleep in it. In spite of Ralph's struggles, he found himself once again in the fishbowl, this time with the old mitten. Furious with Ryan for not managing to save him from this indignity, he crawled right into the thumb where he thought mean thoughts about everyone in classroom 5. Just before the last bell rang, Ryan set a bottle cap full of water in the fishbowl along with a corner of a granola bar Miss Kay had given him. Now take it easy, he whispered. You stay where you're safe tonight. Tomorrow I'll get you out of here. I promise. Ralph refused to come out of the mitten thumb to answer. Later, when Mr. Costa came in to sweep, he listened to the radio singing a mournful song about a lonely truck driver in jail who longed for his 18-wheel rig and the open highway. And all I want is 2 wheels, thought sad and lonely Ralph. End of the chapter. Next chapter is called The Surprise. Have a great day.